All right, guys, happy Halloween. Welcome back to the Digi-Bros Podcast, the best photography and creators podcast, I guess. Today we got a special guest by the name of Cameron. Now, Cameron is a Sacramento-based photographer. You want to let them know your socials to check you out?
Follow me on Instagram at camera_Kam, Cam with a K. Everyone gets confused. YouTube, Kameron Duvale. Everyone messes it up, but you'll find it on my socials. And then TikTok _Katie Photography.
Gotcha. I saw you had recently made a new TikTok, so I saw you were doing a bit of photography, some fashion trends. Do you have any other new things you're gonna add to that for the people to look out for, or what's going on with that?
A lot of it, I'm trying to do mini vlogs of my day, because I'm trying to get into not just vlogging my shoots, but kind of just my daily life. And I think to start doing that on TikTok will get me prepared to start doing it on YouTube. So some mini vlogs, some editing behind the scenes, maybe some more fashion trends. Definitely, I'm still trying to work out what I want to post on there still.
Oh, gotcha. So I think we should let the people know. So when did you start photography, and what kind of got you into it?
So I'm actually coming up on my two-year anniversary, I think, because I got my camera about 2 years ago for my birthday in January, and I've always actually been more into videography, just on my phone, so simple stuff. I never actually started with photography, so it kind of was I knew videography, and then I kind of added photography on, and then once I got it to a point with photography, I was like, oh, feels like I need to get back to videography, and it's just kind of been this almost just kind of playing catch up with oh, I like photography, but I also like videography, just figuring out what I like more. And sorry, what was the other part of your question?
I was just mainly asking what you kind of what got you into it, I guess you could say.
Like your inspirations, I guess.
Yeah. I guess honestly it all started with me just taking pictures of my friends at football games, couples and all that. And then that kind of got me started with sports photography, because I did a lot of volunteering when I was in high school. I did a lot of stuff for our basketball team, and so I got connections there. I took pictures of basketball, of cheer, just kind of abstract photography. And then that same year, no, that was my junior year. So then my senior year, I came up with senior portrait packages. I started doing more portrait work. I started getting into a little bit of car photography. And last year, so my senior year, was kind of my year that I just experimented with a bunch of stuff. And I learned that I love doing creative portrait work.
That's super cool. I was gonna say, you mentioned videography. So when did you start doing that sort of stuff, and kind of what got you started with videography stuff?
I'm trying to think when I started. I've always just loved, I want to say I've always just had an eye for videography. I've loved just filming. I've loved just filming, even if it's just not a vlog or anything planned, abstract, just shots and then putting them together. I've always just kind of had an eye for transitions and what kind of how everything lines up. I want to say probably back in middle school, because I think I took a broadcast class, and I loved it, and that's kind of where it all started. And I took a broadcast class in middle school, but I actually grew up in Santa Rosa, California. So I moved to Sacramento when I started 8th grade. So photography, videography kind of started back in middle school, and then it kind of came with me to Sacramento.
That's cool.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay.
Very cool.
So, as you mentioned some of your types of photography that you do, so what would you say are a few of your favorites?
I think definitely creative portraits. I know I have a lot of, especially by the time this is up, I'm gonna have a bunch of my Halloween stuff up. Those are I love creative portraits, especially stuff with just I have these caution tape photos that'll probably be up by the time this is up, and stuff with my purge mask, which you, Eric, actually inspired me to get, and I love how all my photos with that turned out. I just love stuff with props and my LED light too. So creative portraits are definitely a plus. I love sports photography. I got into kind of again, like I said, with basketball, and then for our golf team, I started taking pictures of golf, and I love that. I'm hopefully going to be getting into soccer photography as well this year. And then if I had to choose a third, I'd probably choose car photography, even though I don't know cars to save my life. It's still just fun taking pictures of them.
That's the thing. I've only done a few car shoots, and I don't know a whole lot about cars. I just enjoy photographing them and kind of riding along in cars too.
Yeah.
One thing, a good question here. So if you had to only choose one type of photography for the rest of your life to shoot, what would it be?
Well, I don't. I don't know. Made me question the meaning of life. Hmm. I'd probably just have to go with like good old portraits because you can never go wrong with shooting people.
True.
That's exactly because David asked me that question a while ago, and I had to agree with that because it's just fun. Like I feel like a lot goes into portraits. Like you meet new people, you're like
Yeah.
kind of build a connection within the photo shoots, and you get to see the results with it, and then they can share those, and then you meet more people and just more networking. I feel like there's a lot that goes into portraits, which is I think worth it.
Yeah.
So I see. So you've been posting a lot on Instagram and TikTok, and you're doing more on YouTube. So how have you found success on Instagram and TikTok? I see you've gained a pretty good following on Instagram through photography and reels. So what would you say have been some things that you've felt like has like helped you kind of get your name out there?
The biggest thing I will recommend to any person, whether you're doing photography or anything like media where you're posting on Instagram, consistency is going to get you results. It does not matter what kind of content, whether you're posting bad content, good content, it just, as long as you're keeping consistent and you keep growing along with your content, you're gonna get followers, you're gonna get views, you're gonna get what you want, you're gonna get those results.
Yeah, I think that's actually really true because I think because as you've probably seen like a year ago, when I was posting TikToks like crazy amount of times each day, just trying to like hit the For You page, and then it's like once you kind of hit like people's For You page, things start to take off, and then you kind of network with people, brands, and stuff. So that's kind of something I'm trying to do for YouTube is just kind of be consistent and then try to hit people's recommended since YouTube's a lot harder to grow on. And
So much harder.
yeah, and I think as like a photographer is doing YouTube, I feel like it's still kind of a small audience, so it's kind of not too difficult because it's not super mainstream, but it still requires a lot that goes into it, and that's just something that I've been trying to work on too, because it's like once you hit the recommended for that, then things kind of can start to take off as well. And I'd like to see so for this is I think an interesting question. Of all of the clients that you worked with, do you have any like interesting stories, like any funny stories, interesting stories that you've been in?
Okay. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of like the funniest one. I've, I've had like weird little like instances in the beginning where like I just like forgot my batteries, but I'm trying to think of like a
No, I've had that. Yeah.
like because I remember for one of my friends, or yeah, she was like a mentor to me. She was like, "Oh, can I like?" She knew I was like getting into photography. This was like probably within like my first like few months of starting out. She was like, "Oh, like, do you want to take pictures of my dogs?" I'm like, "Yes." And so I got to the shoot. I got my camera. If it was next to me, I'd pull it out. But and I like was about to get ready, but then I was like, "Wait." I like looked because I had a feeling, like you know that feeling when you think you forgot something, specifically whether it was an SD card or battery. I'm just like
earlier.
Yeah. I forgot my batteries today.
That's why I always bring spares. But yeah, so I checked and I was like, shoot, don't have my battery. And then we just like ended up dying because like I just took pictures of her dogs with like my phone, which was still pretty good. But I was just kind of like, okay, that inspired me to get this little like box thing that I have like spare cleaning pen, lenses, SD cards. Because I'm like, okay, I might be in a rush one day and forget to switch my battery. That's another thing I always do is before I leave the house. I always switch my battery, switch my SD card, and take a picture of my window right here to make sure like that I can actually take a
that's smart. I haven't thought about that. There's been situations where I'll go. So it's weird on my camera. If I don't have my SD card, it'll let me take photos, but like it won't let me view them. But then if I try taking a video, it'll let me know that I don't have my SD card. And there was a situation where I was on vacation last summer and there was a deer right by me in Oregon. I tried taking a video and it just like said no SD card. And I was so surprised because I was taking photos before, but then yeah, so that kind of hurt. But it's funny that you mentioned the battery thing. Right here, wall charger. I was literally today just charging 3 batteries because we are going to be going out and filming some YouTube videos and some brand work. So it's just constantly just trying to make sure that my batteries are just charged.
Yeah, my little battery charger. I don't know why it's probably been here for the past like 2 years. I don't know why I haven't decided to move it. it's in the one spot of my room that has like stuff crowding around it. So like you don't see it. Like if you go to my room, you'd probably ask where this is. I'm just like, sometimes I might just be like, I don't even know.
I was gonna say, forgot to ask sooner, but what camera do you use?
Canon Rebel T6.
Sick. Love those. Those are nice.
What lenses do you use, by the way?
Let me double check actually.
Yeah.
I know what lenses I use, I swear. For a second I was like, where's my camera? I mostly shoot with my 18 to 55 millimeter lens, and then I also have my 75 to 300. So a lot of my basic kit stuff.
And
that's sick.
Gotcha. So out of those two lenses, which one do you think like you use for like more often?
I definitely use my 18 to 55 more for like photography work, and then I actually found myself using the 75 to 300 more for like videography work, surprisingly.
Oh, gotcha. So in terms of like the future stuff, do you have like any new gear you're looking at, new camera gear, lenses, anything like that?
I'm definitely thinking I need a new lens because I feel like it's been 2 years. I want to upgrade something, whether it's upgrading my actual camera, whether it's upgrading the lens. I don't have my eye on anything specifically yet, but definitely I'm looking to like upgrade my lens. Definitely need to get a new tripod because I swear the legs are like.
That's like mine. Yeah, mine are messed up.
I was taking like some self-portraits today, and I was just like praying. I was like, please let this thing not fall. Like this tripod has been through so much because I'm one of the first types of photography I did was skate photography. You don't know how many people like ram their skateboard into one of my same leg on my tripod. It just has this one wonky leg. I'm just like, why?
That happened to me on my tripod. Like one of the front legs was bent for a while because I'd filmed all of my brother's TikToks with it, and the basketball just constantly hit it. And it's like a $20 tripod. So yeah, I'll be replacing that pretty soon. But I feel like, I think we could also kind of dive back into what you're talking about. You said in middle school you're doing more of like a broadcast thing. So what was that kind of looking like? Because when at our high school, it was more of like you film morning news, or you'd go to like the sports games and film that or photograph it. And then that would go within like the morning news segments. So like, what was that looking like for
So
school?
I actually don't really remember a lot, but I did take a broadcast class my senior year. So could I talk a little more about that actually?
Yeah, go for it.
Definitely.
So so at Indercom High School, we have like a broadcast media class who's run by this really sweet teacher. Love her. I've known her since like my freshman year. So I was like really happy to take her class. A lot of our video projects were done like virtually from home since, as I love to just say, the panorama. So we just did a lot of stuff from home. We did a lot of video projects. That's where I did a lot of my like starting out YouTube vlogs. Like I did like a how to pose thing. I did like Christmas photo ideas. A lot of those were actually projects I turned in for my broadcast class.
Oh, interesting.
And so like a lot of it was just fun because we got to just learn a lot of stuff I pretty much already knew, but it was just kind of a nice like refresher to be like, oh, this is like the rule of 3 angles, like that kind of thing. And just like also learning what we did was towards the second half of the year, it was more like anchoring because it was like broadcast. And so I actually got to like anchor for some of like our school news stuff. And it was really cool just like getting to speak. And like I was never really good with public speaking or like speaking in general, but that really, specifically my senior year, that half of the year helped me just organize my thoughts better. Like that, I don't know what it was with that class. It helps me just like, I don't know what the word is, but like helps me just process my thoughts, helps me like not stumble over my words as much and just kind of like just speak more clearly, I guess.
I was gonna say, I feel like that sort of thing definitely helps with like just being more composed, and gathering. Yeah,
composed. That's the word.
Yeah. I was gonna say, when our school had that, and I think it was our junior years when we were able to run like the morning news, but I never volunteered to be like an anchor because that was really when I was a lot more shy. And you probably have known that because like senior years, I feel like when I was more kind of social, but I was really more into like going out and like kind of like filming the news segments, like planning it, editing it. I'd have like a friend be the one interviewing someone, or not, even if I'm just like kind of typing out the script and stuff. and I'd also like to run the teleprompter for the show, or just be behind the camera too. So that was just kind of like the main thing. But I think, and I'm sure this you could probably relate to this too, but those classes I feel like kind of helps find like it kind of helps like drive, or not like drive, it help like find an inspiration for creating too.
Yeah, especially because like at the time I really wanted to get into posting on YouTube, and
Mhm.
luckily at the cost of basically all of my grades, I was able to pretty consistently post, I think, for like that half of that year.
Mhm.
I think I came out with like at least a video. I don't want to say a video a month, but like I came out with some good quality stuff. So I think I feel good about my sacrifice for my A push class that year.
So, David and I saw that you were working on like a little Halloween short film kind of thing. So, do you want to like share with the people what's going on with that and what to expect?
Definitely. So I'm trying. I'm still trying. I swear I made up to AP Spanish, so I know how to speak in Spanish pretty well. But the title is Masabla. So it's actually the Spanish word for double mask, because with that shoot with my friend Tamir, we we had my purge mask, which was somewhere, and then he brought his like, I don't even know, not like a Joker mask, but it was like a plain white mask with like a dude with a mustache. But so we just literally like that short film is literally just shots on my phone where he was just like chasing me and scaring me. Like that, nothing really was like planned except for like no. There's one chase scene where I hide and he's like acting like he doesn't know where I am, but he legit didn't know where I was. So a lot of that was like a lot of that wasn't planned. So it's really nice, like how smooth, because I just finished editing it today, like how smooth everything turned out. And the music, it just everything is just worked out really well.
That's impressive. Yeah, it would take me a while to at least sort of get the right idea for me, like, okay, I want this to look like that. Because if I were just to be like, all right, let's just go with it, it would be a little harder for me to do that. So
that's one thing I'm kind of happy I can do, but I can't, is that like I can go into something without a plan and kind of work with it. Like I can work on top of like, okay, let's do like in the moment, hey, let's do this shot because I can picture it here. Like there's this one shot, I don't know if either of you two have seen, where it's like it's through my camera lens and then the mask just like turns on, and I was like, it's really cool because
Yeah, I think I saw that.
After that I added a little clip where it was like me talking on the phone to the police, and that took some acting on my part. Where I saw this like suspicious guy at Intercom High School, and like it was just every little aspect. I think I really put a lot of detail in, so I'm really happy with how the final result turned out.
That's interesting. I like to hear about that. It's kind of funny because like you probably saw that quick little film we did for what was it called? Speculo. That was all just last minute. He just randomly came up with this idea, and like we were just, the main plan was just to take photos, and he was just kind of like, here, let's do this shot and then this shot. So it's kind of like when you kind of go out with no plans, you kind of end up making plans.
You develop the plan as you go.
Yeah. And like that's what I kind of did, because I recently just did another Halloween shoot like 2 days ago with my brother. And I was just like, okay, let's just go to the spirit store, make up a character, and just photograph it. And then that's just pretty much what we did. So it's like I found, and you may have probably would agree with this, but when you kind of go out and like kind of like set a lot of expectations from yourself, that you feel like you need to like meet all these requirements, and it gets like adds a lot of extra stress compared to just going out and kind of like having fun.
Right. That's what I love. That's what I love about photography and videography in general. But recently, I feel like I might be the only one who like applies this to me, because like I'm a workaholic. So like I'm organized, but I'm not. So like with content, I'm kind of like with a shoot, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to milk it for everything I can. So it's hard when it's like, gotta get the shots for YouTube, gotta get the shots for TikTok, gotta get the stuff for like Pinterest, like gotta get like everything. So it's like I don't want to be like, let's get this, then let's get this, because I like the just natural pace of the shoot, just going through it. But at the same time, it's hard when I'm trying to get as much content to batch for like 2-3 weeks of content, basically.
Yeah, I completely relate to that. Because like when I go on my shoots, like you probably recognize this, like I'll be filming with my camera or taking photos. I'm like, all right, let me film a few on my phone just for behind the scenes or for TikTok. Or then I'll want to, strap this to my chest and film like a few POV clips.
Is that how you film them?
Yeah, so I have this, and I have a chest mount, which here I can grab it. It's like right here. Um, it's like this was on Amazon. Like I think it was like $15. It just goes around, and you can just put the phone in right here.
Oh.
And like it's really worth it because it's like my phone. I think it films like 4K at 60, but then when I export it to my computer, I think it goes down to like 1080. But it's still good quality for just using your phone.
Because like I was watching your YouTube video you posted I think yesterday, and I've been behind on my YouTube, so I was like, wait, how is he film? Because I couldn't tell if it was you holding it or was like David or someone else like filming. So I was like, wait, how is he film? Because I saw like both your arms, so I was like, how is he filming?
Yeah.
What? And so I was like, that now makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. It's because I've seen a lot of like photography YouTubers do that where they'll film their perspective of doing like street photography or car photography. And I think it's also something that's like really good for YouTube. That was like those are some of my popular videos. So I think you should definitely try that out too. Just kind of film your POV of like a portrait shoot or a car shoot, whatever you're doing, even sports, that'd be pretty interesting to share with people that.
Definitely. Because what I've started doing is because I just recently bought my mom's iPad Pro off her. And so I've been using that. So even today I was doing it like especially when I do self portraits, I like shoot through like my phone so I can see it better. So it comes out clear. And then I'll shoot like video on like my iPad. So now it's not as much of a struggle to be like making sure I get good photos, but also getting the behind the scenes of it.
Oh, gotcha. And you mentioned doing self portraits. I've only done that I think like once or twice. So I feel like the self portraits I think are like they take a lot of patience and like how do you how is that process for you? Because when I did it, I was struggling. Like I'd get up photos out of focus. I'd struggle with ideas.
For me, honestly, like a lot of it is just kind of like I was actually making a video on this today of just like you don't have to follow a trend. You do what you want. You don't have to do something just because it's a trend, but like you can take inspiration from it. So like today, fitting enough, I was wearing one of those Explore hoodies, and there was this TikTok trend where like the sleeves, like I don't know how to describe it, like this words, like you put it like over your shoulder, so this part is like a cape on the back, and then you tie it like here.
I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I did that, and I was kind of like thinking about it before I even took the pose. I'm like, why am I doing? Like, why did I do this? Am I just doing this for the trend, or is it genuinely because I like this? And I was kind of like, it's kind of 50-50. So I was like, you know what? Might as well just kind of try it out. And so that's a big thing with self portraits. Is for me, like my face is probably my most insecure part of me. So that's where like I got over that kind of thing. Cause like honestly, I hated my jawline. I hated like everything on my face, to be honest. I hated my eyes because I hated like glasses and all that. I hated my nose because my name in French actually means big nose. And so that was like a big insecurity for me in like elementary school. But eventually I just kind of got over it through like self-portrait work.
That's actually really good to hear about. Because I remember, I feel like I kind of face that too, where I'll like hand David the camera or something. And if someone's taking photos of me, like I'm so used to taking photos of other people. So when I'm behind or in front of the camera, I'm like, okay, what do I do? Like, I don't really know how to pose myself. I feel like I look awkward. And like, that's really cool that you got over that and you realize, okay, like I know how to take photos of myself. Like, and you seem to have gotten pretty good at doing self-portraits too. And I think that's something I need to try out again because it was a whole process of just trying to figure out everything, how to pose myself, facial expressions, backdrops and stuff. So
and another thing was because of how I learn a lot different from other people. I'm not good with explaining. I'm more of a visual learner. So like when I learned to pose and I learned just like the poses that work for me and like my body type and like me, if someone else has a similar body type or like is similar to me, it's easier for me to visualize like, oh, like put your hand, especially hand movements have gotten like really like popular for me to like teach. So like it'll just make it easier for me to be like, okay, like adjust your hand like this. Like you have smaller hands, so don't do this because it just brings less attention to your face. Just like I know how to more visually instruct rather than verbally.
Gotcha. I remember seeing you did a lot of those Instagram reels of showing off like different poses to try out and stuff. So were all those poses things that you just kind of found like along the way of just trying out different things, or did you kind of like see that from other people?
A lot of it, because here was my thing that I did with a lot of my reels. I was like, okay, I saw a bunch of people do similar things, but they used like work that wasn't their own. It was just kind of like images on Google. But I was kind of like, okay, I don't feel like I can make a video on something if I don't have the work to show it. Like I can have like the tips to tell someone how to do something, but like, okay, for example, if I haven't shot senior portraits before, I'm not going to do a video on here are some tips on how to like pose for senior portraits. Like I want my work to be what I show because it shows I know how to take them. It's not like, and again, different people do this for different reasons, but I'm not just putting some random photo up on the internet to be like, here's how you should pose.
Yeah.
But again, it works for different people. It's just that's for me is like I want to be able to show someone, hey, I took this photo. This is why I know it works.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense because it creates another level of, authenticity, and then you're also showcasing like your own skills, like quite literally.
And it builds that kind of trust within a future client as well, just to be like, oh, like I know what I'm doing. It's not like I'm just, kind of just spewing out nonsense.
Right. Exactly.
One thing I like to ask is, what are your like future plans for your business? Like, YouTube videos, TikTok content, types of things for people to look out for?
So definitely more YouTube stuff. I actually just talked with a photographer friend today, the same dude who shot like I did the Purge Mask stuff with. He's actually going to be helping me out manage like my Instagram account so I can focus more on TikTok and YouTube. Nice. I think definitely I'm hoping to come out with more packages for like the summer and the fall. I want to do like mini sessions because I've had some other photographer friends doing that. And I'm like, oh, I kind of want to try that. So definitely more packages. I'm definitely going to get more consistent, a lot more content to just like put out there on my multiple platforms. And then ideally, I'm looking at possibly merch in like half a year, hopefully. If I'm playing my cards right, which so far I think I have.
Awesome. That's cool.
And I think that's really good that you're going to be focusing on like TikTok too, because it's really like the biggest thing right now. And I think it's like every creator just needs to take advantage of it and just like as a photographer, just showcase your work and like your style as well. So then people can see that. And then from there, you can show them your Instagram and YouTube and stuff. And
I also genuinely want to thank you, Eric, because like you inspired me to like keep going on TikTok. I swear I had so many like burnout moments from TikTok because I genuinely didn't understand the algorithm of TikTok. Like I understand Instagram like the back of my hand. So TikTok was just like, okay, it's constant like checking the hashtags, trends, videos. Like I was just like, what do I do? But then like once you started posting a lot more of kind of like just like the edits, like the edit this like this celebrity and like just the behind just the little stuff, I would just kind of start to notice like Eric just does what he wants. It's not all like the trends, the popular stuff. He sticks to what works for him. He gets pretty good views and like good engagement all around with that. So I just need to do the same for me and build like series that work for me that people love and just like stay consistent. Because that's my biggest thing with TikTok is that it just doesn't, I just need to stay consistent.
I'm happy to hear that. It helped to kind of motivate. So I think, for posting on TikTok, I don't really, like, as you mentioned, really go for trends. I may use like a popular audio that I find like on my feed a lot, or if I kind of see something that's like kind of a trend. So I'll see like other photographers show like just kind of like behind the scenes, like of their view. So like a recent TikToks I was posting were just like the view of the city as I'm taking a long exposure. And what I find is interesting is that like when I kind of just show behind the scenes of shoots, those usually do better than posts of the photos, which is kind of annoying. But from there, people are still kind of able to see that. And then they'll be like, oh, let me see the results. And it's like, just kind of like, oh, scroll up, you'll see photos there or on my Instagram. And like, I just kind of, like, as you mentioned, I just kind of just post what I wanted. Because there definitely were times where I was just posting, trying to just completely just, not like, I guess you could say sell out, where like, I noticed that the photo edits were doing good. So I really just prioritized that. And then I realized, okay, am I really enjoying doing all these edits or do I want to showcase my work? So then I kind of slowed down with those. And now I'm really just doing like my work and behind the scenes and stuff. And for me, like the big thing now is kind of showing like mainly trying to just like get my audience to go over to Instagram and YouTube, because my big priority right now is just kind of doing YouTube content.
As like, and also I don't think I mentioned this, I'm also in like for the podcast, I haven't mentioned I'm into like media marketing and engagement.
Mhm.
So I know for me, yeah, like you mentioned, like Instagram, my photography account was actually my first Instagram account, so where I just started posting stuff. But how I'm kind of seeing it is like if I build on my audience on Instagram and YouTube, I push out my YouTube stuff on like Instagram and TikTok because Instagram is my lowest and yeah, my lowest engaging platform. So if I push all my higher platforms, like go follow, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, it kind of boosts up YouTube, and then it almost is like this like kind of slide effect where it's like, okay, once the YouTube goes up, we promote the Instagram, the TikTok, and then just
Mhm.
kind of back and forth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense to me because I remember like a year ago when I had videos doing really well, I would post like behind the scenes of photo shoots that I was doing with David, and I'd like put in the caption like new video on YouTube, and there would actually be like a decent amount of people that would check it out. So it's like when you notice that something's kind of like one of your platforms is doing well, that's like your sign to realize, okay, now let me kind of show them that I'm on these other platforms. I'm doing more than just this video that you see here.
And
And if you,
especially, oh, sorry.
oh no, you're all good. You can continue.
And especially like, oh shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say. Uh, you go. I need to remember.
I was gonna say, and if you have any like TikTok posting related questions, seriously, just let me know because I've kind of, in a sense, kind of figured out what works and what kind of doesn't, and like things to just try out because I feel like it's kind of different for everyone. Like I noticed certain photographers that I follow, like them just posting like POV TikToks of them like doing street photography, those blow up compared to them doing like, like doing like a portrait shoot or just filming behind the scenes. So it's like I think that definitely one thing is just kind of try out posting different types of things and then pay attention to, okay, this one's getting more views than this. And then the ones that aren't getting as much views, you can try and look at those and think, okay, did I caption this right? Like, are the first few seconds kind of, grabbing the viewer's attention? Hashtags, are they like really like photography niche or like this certain type of photography niche?
Mm.
And like one thing also I noticed is like I try not to use too many hashtags because I think when you use really like the mainstream ones, it doesn't really get the videos out there. And
Yeah.
that's what I really learned from doing those photo edits because I use the hashtags related to like the edit of this person I'm doing. If it was like Addison Rae or Kim Kardashian, whatever it was. So it's like if you merely like title and the caption and hashtag your video really related to what that exact video is, you have a better chance of it kind of getting out there. And then for the audio, you kind of mix it with like a pretty much not a super mainstream audio like a popular dance, but one that's got like 20,000 to like 50,000 uses on the audio. And I found that to be kind of like a successful factor.
And I love using like just remixes of like especially early 2000 songs. Like I've had so many on my For You page that I'm just like perfect for like vlogs or just like anything. So because I think like especially I feel like this might just be my bias, but like early 2000s music I feel like hits with a bunch of people. So I feel like that's what I try to use. I've been trying to use a little bit more of.
Gotcha. That's good. So did you have any other things you wanted to let the people know to look out for? Because I think we kind of covered what we wanted to cover, unless you have anything else you wanted to add to.
Oh, real quick, because I know I asked, or no, I asked your brother this, but in where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then where do you see yourself in, we could do 2 years or even 10 years too. So
I'm gonna choose 5 and 10. So in 5 years, I see myself possibly, I don't know, like sometime between the 5 and 10, ideally some kind of progress towards getting my studio. Because that's my like not end goal, but like one of my long-term goals, like getting a studio, because I want that ideally for myself. So sometime between that 5 to 10 years, getting a studio, definitely like posting more. I want to be able to be like work with a lot more like bigger brands, not just like small businesses, but small businesses are honestly like some of my favorites to work with. So ideally working for like, I might shoot high here, like 2 to 3 good size like brands, or I don't want to say companies, but like good groups of people. It's just like good groups of people. And then ideally having like my ideal camera, which again I'm not too sure, but just I want to be at a point where like I am not stressing about photography feels like work but it also feels like when I started, when it was just like a hobby, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Of course.
And thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate it. And one more time, let all the people know your social media so they can follow and subscribe and just be on the lookout for new content.
Let's hope that I can remember all my ads. TikTok is _Katie Photography. Instagram is Camera Kam, Camera_Kam. And then YouTube is KAMERON_DUVALE.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing those.
Thanks for coming on.
Everyone that watched / listens, you heard the man. Go follow. Check him out.
Please go follow me. I just hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. I need more.
Hey.